Well, hello everyone. This is your host Humam again from the radio station of AUIB at 101.5, and today's episode is absolutely different. You may be asking why, because we're opening a new college, which is the College of Education, and I'm not gonna say anything more, but I have a very special guest that I'm really excited to talk about and have a conversation about a lot of topics that we want to discuss right now. And I have Dr. Alison. I'm happy to have you here in the studio. Before we get started, we sat before we got in this interview, and I've heard a lot of interesting and inspirational stories. So could you please tell us one of these, and maybe you can tell us about yourself before?
Good morning, Humam. Thank you very much for having me here today. I'm very excited. And I have to say that your space is really wonderful.
I know, right?
Yeah, it is great. And I am really honored and privileged to be with you.
Thank you. We're very honored to have you here.
Thank you very much.
So you have a very interesting story, and throughout your life, professionally, academically, and personally. So can you tell us a little bit about it? Because I've heard that story, and maybe one of the faculty members too, maybe the students, but for the public or maybe other students who maybe could be inspired by your story. So can you tell us about yourself?
Yes, of course, I'd love to. I like to say that my career path does not go in a straight line. Like many people, it's a journey of both lifelong learning and of passion. And so I'm originally from the United States, and I grew up in a very cold area, Michigan, and then moved to a warmer one in Maryland. So my undergraduate and master's course of study is all in engineering. So I have worked in aircraft design, in robotic design, in artificial intelligence, and for a very long time, for 20 years or so, that's what I worked in. Designing systems for aircraft.
And you had a PhD?
So then I switched into education. And
what a switch.
what a switch. And I started with just teaching in engineering, and I love teaching students. And I found a real passion in designing curriculum and thinking about how do people best learn. So learner-centered education.
And now you are the director of the first College of Education here at AUIB. So speaking of the College of Education, could you just tell me an overview of that college, or maybe before that, we're expecting to have a collaboration with Vanderbilt University, and since you came from Vanderbilt, Peabody School of Education, could you tell me about Vanderbilt and Peabody, like a short brief about it, so we can just connect it to our college?
Yes, of course. So when I decided to go earn my doctorate, I went to Vanderbilt University, Peabody College of Education and Human Development, and that's in Nashville, Tennessee, USA. And it's routinely ranked in the top 6 education universities in the United States. And those particular schools in primary education and curriculum development, they're number 1 in the U.S. And so their program has is centered on learning-centered in education, research-based curriculum development, and practical experience. And so Vanderbilt has teamed and partnered with American University of Iraq, Baghdad, through the State Department in order to create this partnership and the curriculum that we're offering here. So I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. We're all very excited about it. So, how will this collaboration benefit AUIB students who are interested in pursuing a degree in education?
Yeah, what a great question. So first I'll say that it's a degree in education and human development. And so it is. It's not only teaching. For students that are interested with a passion in understanding education and curriculum development inside of the classroom, we have a teaching pathway.
Exactly. That was what I wanted to mention, the 2 pathways.
Yes. Yeah. And then we also have a second pathway, which is in learning design. And so if you have a passion about thinking about education in the community and in organizations, entrepreneurship, nonprofits, in this pathway, we're going to help the student learn about how do we apply that? How do we design education for the community? And it's a different thought process.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Actually, before we get into more details about their career paths, when we sat before, you just mentioned that someone will enroll in this college wouldn't be like not only just teaching kids and going to school, but they can be hired into, creating curriculum in corporates and companies. So can you elaborate on that more?
Yes, of course. So when we think about human development, we know that people learn, and people learn differently. And so they learn not only in the classroom, but outside of the classroom. And as you're starting a new business, perhaps you start to hire employees and team members who learn a set of skills, but you want to help them grow and become leaders. And that's what our graduates would be able to do. They might work with entrepreneurs in designing educational programs to develop their team members. They might work with international programs that are really interested in how do we help Iraq and how do we help other institutions grow their educational programs. And so our graduates would be in those positions of leadership to do that.
So they, make a great impact and participation in the learning and development journeys of, not only the kids, but also the corporate companies and the professional individuals.
Yep, our graduates would be very attractive to international organizations that are focused on not only education as a mission, but education within their institutions.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of that, and you mentioned a lot of good information. Students, when they enroll to a college, they want to know their future. They want to know what career path that they have. So can you just mention the career paths that the College of Education student might have in the future?
Yep. So certainly if they're interested in teaching in primary classes, they would be attractive to public, private, national and international schools. So thinking about an international school here in Iraq or in the Middle East, our graduates would be English speaking, focused on the latest technologies, and so they would be very attractive to those types of programs. And then also students or our graduates might be attractive to technology companies that are looking to how do they implement their technologies, to nonprofits and non-governmental organizations who, again, might be interested in investing, to setting policy in education.
Exactly.
And then also social topics and social issues, and how do we communicate those things. So those two would be attractive for our graduates.
That's great,
Yeah.
actually. When it comes to resources, so what resources or expertise does Peabody College provide to AUIB College of Education in this partnership? So can you mention a little bit about it?
Yeah, I'd love to. So Vanderbilt University, Peabody College is in partnership with AUIB, and they bring 200 years of education.
Wow.
200 years.
That's a lot.
So they've been doing it for a while. I know it may not be a long time here, but
Yeah.
in the U.S., that's a long time focused on the development of education. And they approach it differently. They approach it with scientists, with sociologists, with technical degrees, as well as individuals with education degrees. And so we blend all of this knowledge together in order to develop the curriculum. And Vanderbilt's been working on the curriculum for the last year back in the States. And so there are 3 faculty right now. I am one of them. We're all from Vanderbilt. And we come having developed that curriculum for the last year. And so it's that breadth of teaching experience and of partnership that we'll be applying here. So we're very excited about that.
You mentioned that developing a curriculum. So while you're developing the curriculum, do you care about the psychological factor or aspects of that curriculum? Maybe training future teachers how to deal with psychological factors or maybe issues that could arise in the class. So how do you manage that?
So that is such a great point, because I'm going to circle back. Our whole program is learner-centered. And it's not teaching, so it's not just giving the information, but it's looking at who's the student in the classroom, how do they learn, and how do we help them achieve their best.
And receive what we are offering.
Yes, receive, and then helping them develop their own methods of sharing that information. And so we're doing two things. We are not only helping our undergraduate students learn, but we're also helping them experience what it means to be a learner so that they are better educators when they leave. We're deeply concerned about that learner development. And the courses that they take will not only be in traditional educational areas, but also educational psychology. And then we also have a set of 3 courses where we're focused on special education and how the breadth of students and their skills and their abilities to learn change. And so how do we meet the needs of those students?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I remember like a while ago when Vanderbilt has a visit here, and they provided some workshops for not only people from AUIB, but targeting the public, where we had a couple of workshops where we made with principals from different schools, distinguished schools, or maybe public schools. So do you think that the College of Education in the future could make the same or maybe contribute to the public and the local community?
A big part of our program is practical experience. And so our students, while they are here, will be working with public and private schools so that they're able to work within those school systems, as well as nonprofit and NGOs, so that blend of it. So that means that we're developing relationships with the schools and with NGOs, and those relationships will continue workshops and roundtable discussions to help educate the community on what it is that we're doing. And then it's our desire to utilize those partnerships to help the institutions, but also to send our students and later our graduates into those programs so they can have the experience as well.
Well, while you were talking, I had a question in mind that just popped up. When it comes to different cultures, and how to design a curriculum that fits that specific culture. In teaching in our school, when we're dealing with kids, we have a specific curriculum that is just, based on the culture that we have. But, bringing a curriculum, a new method of teaching, letting the student design the curriculum when they become teachers. So how do you think we can manage and making a perfect combination and a harmony between culture and the curriculum and, designing an educational curriculum?
Thanks, Humam. That's such a great question, because that, I think, is the key to the program. We use this approach of teaching, learning, design. And so we start with the end state. What do we hope our graduate will be able to be? And then we look to see where they are right now. And I like to think as an engineer originally, that we're using a design process to look at who it is that's coming into the school and how it is that we want them to leave. And so that's really important. It's a problem-solving evolution. And so there are 3 of us from Vanderbilt here right now. We don't have any students, although the portal has just opened up.
Yeah, we're expecting students.
Expecting students. So we're here to learn and to better understand that problem so we can come up with that pathway.
What about the educational standards? Well, how will the American University in Baghdad ensure that the values and educational standards upheld by Peabody College are integrated to the new College of Education that we have here at AUIB?
So the advantage that we have right now is that the U.S. State Department has funded a grant for 2 years, and there are opportunities for it to potentially be longer. But in that 2 years, we continuously work with Vanderbilt in order to to increase the depth of the curriculum.
And work on the development of the
Work on the
curriculum.
development of the curriculum. Yes. And so as we better understand who the students are, we can work on the development of the curriculum to meet their needs and to uphold those standards. And we fully expect then that our graduates would be eligible for teaching certificates in the K through 6 environment, and then also in entrepreneurship, social, governmental organizations.
Would you think that you can provide maybe for exchange programs or maybe an internship that students could go for a week at Vanderbilt University, or maybe explore how they develop the curriculum, or maybe they work what they do?
Yeah, I would love to see that happen.
Yeah.
And certainly those are things that I see as aspirational goals. But because the curriculum is focused on an immersion experience, we're always looking to see how can we make these international experiences occur. And so the students that we would target would be in their 3rd and 4th year of the programs. So we have a little bit of time and space to work that. But AUIB is really interested in creating international experiences and make that possible.
What about the practical experience? Is it at the 3rd or the 4th year?
So actually, the practical experience starts in the 2nd year. The 1st year, all students in our program will take the same courses.
The same courses.
The same courses.
Okay.
And then after that 1st year, they have the choice of choosing, do they want to go teaching pathway or do they want to go with the learning design pathway?
When they choose their pathways, the practical experience would be implemented within the university, or maybe you can send them to schools, public schools, private schools. And what do you think about this?
Definitely. The experiences would be with organizations specific to their pathway, but outside of AUIB. Now, I will say we have an exciting prospect of a K through 12 school being built here on AUIB property.
AUIB, American Module School, I think the name is that.
Yeah.
Yeah, American Module School.
And that would be our model school where we can go in and practice. So our students would have their K through 12 school right next door.
Yeah,
and
pretty easy.
It's great. I know that at Vanderbilt, and they have a similar program in both private schools and public schools where they can learn the information in the classroom, and then that afternoon they can go and practice. Yeah.
In the future, when you have the first graduation of the students, how do you think you can help them after graduation, or maybe providing career guidance and how to put them in the right place?
So that's also a big part of our program, is developing partnerships so that our students are able then to apply the knowledge and the skills that they have learned. And so some of the internship immersion programs that they might have had as a student open up pathways for them later to have as a graduate.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think that I forgot something to mention that you want to comment?
I would love to have students come, and I will say a big draw is that I have up to 20 scholarships for the students to come, and that starts.
It's a fully funded scholarship. Don't be concerned about the ELA as well, because it's going to be funded as well.
Yes, it's fully funded. So the year at ELA to improve your English language skills, and then for 4 years afterwards through our curriculum. And so that's great. We're very excited about that, and we're looking for those students to.
Yeah. Since you're looking for the students and you want them to come to our college and our university, what advice that you want to provide for them?
If you are thinking about and energized about improving education in your community, this is the place to come. So it's a different way to think about it. And if you're thinking about, I'd like to help adult learners, and I'd like to help my businesses, these are other things. If you're passionate about thinking, how do I change education nationally and internationally, this is the program to come to.
Yeah, I think not only education, but the human development could contribute to the smaller communities, even your family. You can use these tactics, these designs. You can use a lot of it right?
We are, and we're looking at partnerships with our other colleges to see how it is that we can help those students as well. And so education happens at Humam, as you say, in the community. It happens in a school setting. It happens at an art museum. It happens inside of the family.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think that's it for today. And thank you so much for being in our studio. And I think 15 minutes is not enough. We could talk forever, right?
I'm happy to come
maybe
anytime.
we could have another time we can sit and talk about different, aspects and details. So I just want to thank you for coming to our studio and for this inspirational story and valuable information. So just thank you so much.
Thank you, Humam. I really appreciate it. And AUIB is a really special place, and this partnership is just terrific.
We all think it's a special place. So thank you, everyone, for listening to us. Don't forget to hit us on YouTube, AUI Baghdad, and our social media, AUIB.FM and AUIB Baghdad. And thank you for all the media team, the DJs, and the Lightning, Haidar, everyone. Thank you so much.